What's up, everybody? I am Jayme Bedingfield, and this is my podcast, Too Many Words. Thanks for tuning in. And I am here with owner of Apex Publications and chief editor, Jason Sizemore.
Hey, Jayme.
Your December's treating you okay?
It is. Everyone else is getting snow south of us, but here in Lexington, it's just been cold and drizzly.
That's not bad. We're in Seattle, so I would like some snow, but right now we're just getting some frost.
Yeah, I thought it only rained in the Pacific Northwest.
It does rain a lot. We do occasionally. We're actually in a dry patch right now where it's just really cold and sunny, but it's been raining for like 3 months, so we have a week of dryness.
Yeah, take your socks off. Make sure your feet, air out and get dry.
Yep, that's right. Get the moisture out of all my coats. So Apex Publications had a big release this week with Winter Glass.
We sure did. Winter Glass by Benjamin Siradane Kual. And if she's listening, I am so sorry if I butchered that last name. It's quite a mouthful, especially for someone from Kentucky. It's this really good magical realism, dark fantasy, LGBTQ, snow queens mash with a badass lead female character that has really appealed to readers. As you can tell, I'm very excited about the book.
Yes, it sounds awesome. I'm planning on reading it next. Right now, I'm reading. I just started The Crank and See, which is amazing.
Oh yeah, E. Catherine Tobler. Yeah, she's one of these writers that make other writers envious with like her never-ending skill and like poetic prose. Yeah, with her book, more so than any other I've published, I've had probably approaching 10, at least writers say, yeah, when I read her, it causes jealousy in me. And I get that.
Yeah. Well, I think jealousy is one of the tools of the writing tool belt. It can help motivate to get better, at least for me, from my standpoint.
Yeah. A motivated writer will use jealousy as fuel to put words on page.
Turn it into spinach and go for a run.
That's right. Turn, to a literary Popeye. I guess he grows like the elbow patches on his little knobby elbows and starts saying big words.
I could rock one of those hats, that's for sure. The sailor hat.
Ah, you put your show's logo on it. Instead of word salad, it could be word spinach.
Yeah, there you go. Alphabet soup, actually, I guess, if we're going with canned products. So you've done so much and built so much in such a crazy industry, and you really you're holding your spot. It must be quite the journey that you have to go on to keep that ball rolling.
Yeah, it's been a journey, and a wild one from practically day one. The very first convention I went to, I was invited to an orgy, and that really freaked me out. Fortunately, that was a little incident. It's only happened 7 or 8 times since, but being the first time, I was kidding about the 7 or 8 times. I'm not sure if you knew that. I couldn't tell. But being the very first time, I had just published like one issue of Apex Digest. This was back in 2005, and I went to this convention, and I was all excited, and I got to hang out with Cheryl and Kenyon and made friends. And then about halfway through Saturday evening at the room, this lady's like, hey, really I'm giving too much detail about this story. Let's just say from the very beginning, it was crazy. And no, I did not attend the orgy.
So what kind of started you, on building Apex Publications?
Well, interestingly, my life was very boring. I had a dead-end job working for the risk management group of the Lexington County government. And I was looking to do something to increase my own creative output. Are you snoring? I heard that.
No, that is Jake's contribution to the show. No, he likes to sleep through the podcast, whether, what I'm talking about. It's just he gets all comfy under my feet and lets it go.
He's a good foot warmer.
He is, yeah. But you were saying that you were looking to just increase your creative output?
Yes, I was kind of wanting to do something to leave a mark on the world in a positive manner. And at the time, I didn't feel like I had the writing skills in order to become a writer. And I had done some editing for related purposes. Of course, it didn't really occur to me that business editing is a quite different beast than fiction editing. But nonetheless, I went ahead and started Apex Science Fiction and Horror Digest, which turned out to be a rather successful print magazine that ran quarterly for 4 years. And by the time I decided to shut it down and move it online, we were circulation of 10,000. We had a subscriber base of about 3,000, 2,500, somewhere around there. But around like 2008, 2009, it was becoming obvious, that Amazon with Kindle was about ready to take a hammer to the traditional models for magazines and really strike out at the traditional models.
Yeah, well, that Bezos takes a hammer to a lot of things.
He does, and now he's got all the money in the world to back it up. We're all in trouble.
Well, yeah, I saw him tweet like a month back of him. It was a video of him standing on top of a windmill, and he had just bought another wind farm. And I didn't even know he owned any wind energy plants. And I was like, wow, this kind of, reads like a prelude to some sort of dystopian.
So probably the helicopter he owns and the helicopter pilot he employs probably took him to the top of that windmill.
Probably. And then also delivered him the champagne because he christened it with it.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So, yeah.
The wind giant.
Mm-hmm. That's maybe it was the imagery he's going for. The wind.
If he changes his Twitter name to that, I'll know he's listened to the podcast.
That would be pretty cool. You could say, I am certain Jeff Bezos listened to this podcast because he named himself the Wind Giant after a discussion I had with Jason Sizemore. That's an endorsement.
Oh, yeah. Tune in, episode 57, proof. We coined it, Wind Giant. I am really excited for the paper edition.
Yeah, I'm excited, and I'm also hesitant. People seem to be really into it, but I do know that, it's due to cost. It's like $8 and then a couple bucks for shipping. That for some, they'll see it as a premium product, and even though they're excited about it, they may have to pass on it. And it is a whole lot of more extra work. So I've got to have enough people signing up for the recurring subscription plan in order to really make it worth the time.
Yeah. Well, that's just a tricky thing about, this kind of, dream following and, cobbling this and that is you got to put yourself out there and you got to try stuff and see if it works. And, not everything will, but doing it is, it's awesome.
Yeah. Well, I do think the final product will be great. And the really cool thing about doing the monthly recurring subscriptions means, I don't have to sell year at a time blocks, so I'm not locked in. If after a few months I find, oh, wow, 6 people are buying this a month, it's just, I can go ahead and stop at the end of the next month instead of oh my God, I've got to keep making these until everyone's subscription's hired a year from now.
Oh, well, that's nice, especially as you're transitioning. That and the paper edition comes out in January, correct?
Yes, the first one will be in January. It's also a really good one to pick up because January is our annual double issue. And this year we have some incredible authors. We have Nisi Shaw, Ursula Vernon, Cassandra Caw, uh, Bowen, right? Delilah Dawson writing is Lila Bowen.
These are awesome.
Yeah, she's amazing and so fun to follow on social media.
Oh, definitely. So you must be busy right now getting ready for all that.
We have a couple of translated works. One from Shay Wei from China and Armel Saldana from Mexico. It's translated from Spanish. So we usually have 3 original works and 1 reprint. So I believe we have 7 stories in this issue, original stories, and 2 reprints, and an unusual assortment of nonfiction. Yeah, it's about 50,000 words. So for $8, you're getting, and then practically a novel's worth of content.
That's awesome. And Jake is picking up tempo. Please don't take it personally. He's just tired from watching the reviews all day.
That's okay. Pumpkin, my cat, often will lay down next to me here while I'm working and start snoring, and I'm just like, enjoy the life, buddy. Enjoy the life.
Yeah, they got it pretty good. No, it's actually, I have one of my neighbor's houses is being turned into a prettier, better house as this whole neighborhood is just getting swallowed up and by the city. Anyway, there's been just construction all day, and I was just like, oh, this might really affect recording, but they like just stopped as I was getting ready to talk to you. So good timing. Yeah, because sawing that the mic picks that up.
Yeah, generally construction noise not conducive to like podcasting in general.
For at least those who do it in their home office and not in a soundproof studio. I don't have one of those yet.
Not many people do.
So as far as like other things that Apex has in the works, it's pretty much just a focus on the paper issue right now, or and your winter class just came out. Do you have other books on the horizon?
We have in January a collection from Damian Angelica Walters. It got a starred review in PW, and was quite thrilled by that. It's called Cry Your Way Home. And in February, we have Brian Keene's Return to the Lost Level, which is like this weird Lost World pulp fantasy stuff. And yeah, in April, we have something from Paul Jessup, very like weird space opera. It's actually a follow-up to a novella I published of his, one of his first books I published back in 2007-8 called Close Your Mouth. There's another weird one called Ether Christ by Kirk Jones coming this spring. You gotta see the artwork for this too. The cover art's amazing. So that mostly covers 4 or 5 months of next year. Anything beyond that, it gets a little nebulous due to the nature of running a small press. Sometimes amazing books will land in my lap. Other times, an author will be like, "Oh, can we move my book up?" Or can we move it back? So right now, that is what is being worked on, and will definitely be out in the next 6 months.
That's awesome. Isn't it? I mean, that it's an interesting balance running all of this out of your home and your work. I don't know. I'm assuming you work out of your house a lot.
Yeah, I call it the Apex basement office. I live in a split level, so like the bottom half is kind of underground. It's always cold in here. And
Same here. We live in a hill, and our bottom is, because both my husband and I work from home, so this is where our offices are. And yeah, I have to light candles, and because I'm chilly, I get the heat from the candles and pretend I'm, Hemingway.
Really? Do you put them like in a coffee can so that it emits more heat?
Um, no, but I should, especially when I'm feeling extra dramatic. I can just start putting my candles in coffee cans, and my husband can be like, "Oh man, she's working. I'm just gonna back up. This is getting weirder."
Or maybe he's like, oh my God, she is really cold. It's time to turn the heat up.
I mean, the plastic ones would be quite flammable, wouldn't they? Or they'd at least, like, their fumes would probably overshadow the vanilla spice I've got going on.
Well, yeah, you don't want to use the plastic coffee. You want to use the tins. I don't even know if they sell those things anymore, but
But yeah, no, it's I find it you know, putting so many hours in lately that I'm not leaving my house as much as I should be leaving my house. So I'm starting to make goals, just make sure that am getting out of the house regularly and not just, becoming the weird basement person that I'm becoming.
yeah, it is kind of weird. Literally a basement person. Yeah. Uh, like 5 days will pass, and I'll be like, huh, I don't think I've left the house in 5 days. Then, the neighbors are going to think I'm a shut in. And so, I make sure that at least once a week I have a social activity planned during the day, like namely doing lunch with people. Business lunches are great. I also do some kind of freelance teaching and workshopping at one of the writing centers here in town. So that gets me out when it's during in session.
Yeah, that's what I'm currently. I did I did my laundry the other day and saw like no jeans, just I was just all pajama pants and leggings. I was like, "Oh wow, Jayme, pull it together. Go outside, put on some real clothes."
My managing editor, Leslie Connor, I tease her all the time because she's like, yes, today is one of those no pants days. And I'm just like, whatever. Every day is a no pants day for you.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, speaking of like neighbors and shut-ins, like, I'm in my house most of the time, but then I started bonding with these two crows as research, and I started feeding them, and they started bringing me tinfoil. So I'll be out in the rain with, like my hood on, and I'm like crouched down in front of the house, like talking to the crows, and like some of my neighbors can't help but like shake their head, like, what is she doing now?
That is awesome. I can, you know what? I can totally like envision Edgar Allan Poe back in the day doing that same thing.
Right? The thoughts crossed my mind. I will be honest.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Well, and the like, my one neighbor was saying, like, aren't they, I forget the question, but asked me a question about how they're going to start, like, multiplying, and I was just like, well, they're actually very territorial. And I started spitting out all these facts. And he's like, well, I didn't need all those facts, but, just keep the baloney off my yard, please.
Well, it's good to have the facts. So when the nosy neighbors are being all judgmental, you can put them in their place.
Mm-hmm. I'm not only talking to the crows, I'm also well versed in researching them. So I'm, at least it's got that going on for me.
Yeah, I'm a huge animal guy. So hearing stories like that will endear you to my heart forever.
I am too. I actually, I think I prefer animals. Well, I make jokes because I'm that person that, like, if I'm out, and I'm passing a person with a dog, I'm not going to say anything. I'm very rarely going to say hi to the person, but I will, crouch down and start talking to the dog in like my high pitched voice, like, "Hello, are you having a nice day?"
Yeah, the person walking the dog's like, hello, and you're like, whatever. Hey, puppy. Yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. You go to someone's house, they have house cats. Do, oh, hey, kitty, kitty, kitty. Oh, yeah, how's it going? Hey, kitty, kitty, kitty. So.
Yeah, you've got Pumpkin the cat, right?
Uh huh. an orange tabby.
Oh, I've seen pictures of him on Twitter. He's beautiful.
Oh, well, thank you. I thank you for him. He knows he's pretty too. You know how cats are.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I have this oversized, he's like a half of a larger breed cat, part tuxedo, and he's like fluffed out and just he practices his laser vision and he's almost got it. He's almost got it down.
Do you post pictures of the tuxedo?
I do. Yep. Mo the cat. It's the closest I think I'll ever have to actually, you know, having Totoro. He's like this like forest creature, but he lives in a house and he'll take pens out of my pen holder and toss them at me as I'm trying to work. He's like, write faster.
Well, I think as a writer, it's a very lonely profession. Editing can be very lonely, which is mostly what my days are. So having an animal, a pet, I think is a very important part of mental health. Whether it's a dog or a cat, it's got to be the type of pet that actually you have to get up and interact with. I even really think fish are good to have on your desk for that reason, because you can look and then they'll respond. You need some kind of response stimuli beyond social media or text. So I find that, yeah, for me, it's very helpful.
No, same here. I've got I work with 3 dogs and 2 cats, and I'm definitely saner with them than without them.
Yeah, you're running a barn.
Well, my first dog, she wasn't very good at being an only dog, and she was over grooming, and the vet was like, she needs a companion. So that led us to Jake, who is my snorer. He's my 110-pound Rottweiler, and they had a surprise litter, and we kept one, which is our Bilbo Baggins. He actually is a thief.
Oh, is he?
Still thief. He hides things under, in weird places. You'll find, I'll be vacuuming and I'll finally move that piece of furniture, and there'll be like 15 socks. That's Bilbo.
That's where the socks go. Ah.
Well, Jason, can you tell everybody where they can find you on the internet?
I am all over the internet, but you have to be careful. If you search for Jason Sizemore in Google, you may want to put writer or publisher house. Prior to coming on the scene, there was another Jason Sizemore, and he was a very popular actor in films of sexual nature.
Yeah. Jason Sizemore, don't Google image search it.
Yeah, so if you do, it was so bad that I actually had high school friends say, "Wow, you look different," and "Wow, I would have never guessed you to star in movies like that." Yeah, so Jason-Sizemore is my website. Find me on social media, particularly on Twitter at Apex Jason. I also run the Apex Magazine account on Twitter, and that is at Apex Mag, MAG. I would love to chat with you. You can tell me how much you love the magazine, or you can fuss at me about mistakes you find in the magazine, whatever. People do all sorts of things. It's just, feedback's always good, meeting new people.
Awesome. And all right, guys. Well, that wraps it up for this week. And you can follow me on Twitter at me Bedingfield and the show at Too Many Words Pod. And for everything else, go to tmwpod.com. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll talk to you next week. And thank you, Jason, for coming on. It was just real fun talking to you.
It's been a blast. Thank you for having me.